Staying in Contact. I'm London Mitchell. My guest today is author Jeff Alt, whose roots are in the Toledo area. I met Jeff about 20 years ago when he hiked the entire 2,160-mile length of the Appalachian Trail. As a He did it as a fundraiser and promotional campaign for Sunshine Communities. Sunshine's annual walk, run, and roll promotion draws its inspiration from Jeff's adventure. The adventure, hiking the Appalachian Trail, resulted in Jeff's first book, the award-winning A Walk for Sunshine. And let's face it, Jeff, hiking the Appalachian Trail is just not for everyone.
It was a boyhood dream of mine, and after hiking and camping with my family in Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and as I started to realize I could do this and I had a window of time to do this, I couldn't think past my brother Aaron, who was born with cerebral palsy and is cared for by Sunshine Communities in Maumee, Ohio. And I decided to dedicate my journey to him. And unbeknownst to me, that turned out to be the biggest inspiration that kept me going all the way through.
So this was a fundraiser, or you were hiking the trail just to call attention to Sunshine?
Yeah, and what it, originally I thought, I want to share my journey with my brother. That's how this started. And I shared the idea with, at the time, the director Douglas Siebenaller at Sunshine, and we panned out a fundraiser. So in my mind, okay, this is a one-time event. As I walk along, we're going to use the publicity we were getting from my journey, because it was well publicized, and educate folks about the needs Sunshine has along the way. But it turned out to be an annual charity that went on for 26 years.
You wrote a book about it. I've
Mhm.
read the book. The audio version is one of my favorites,
Okay.
but that was your first book,
That was, yes.
but it wasn't your last. So
Oh
it
no.
kind of spurred what, a secondary career for you?
It, it sort of has. It's funny. You never know when one door closes, another one opens. When one journey ends, a new one begins, right? And the my first book has done so well. It's still in print today. It's in its fifth edition. It's sold over 100,000 copies, and I continue to get bookings to go publicly speak, do keynotes and things like that. But I pitched the idea based on a dream of mine. I wanted to reach out to the youth, to help inspire them to get out, enjoy the woods, realize the power of nature. And I realized that you need to do this young, before we get so ingrained in our routines that we don't realize, the potential there. So in the middle grade ages is a key age where kids are learning in school about national parks. And I thought, if I could tie in some cool fun facts and stories, um, about some of my favorite parks and some of the most popular ones, this could help families and kids become inspired. So I pitched the idea to my publisher about writing a book series called The Adventures of Bubba Jones, a time travel book series, which is really historic fiction. So everything's real except the characters are fiction. So everything you're learning about it is fact vetted by each park. And lo and behold, the first one came out in 2015. That's sold, I think, 7,000 units to date. And then we went on and did the second one in Shenandoah, then Acadia in Maine, and then out to Grand Canyon. And then my latest book, just released this past year, is based in Yellowstone. So it's been wonderful.
You've got me intrigued. You say they're books for children, but I'm intrigued. I'd like to read one.
And that's the funny thing. What caught me off guard a little bit was, well, a lot of grown-ups love history. And I noticed what I do based on the books is I'll do living history talks and walks in each park. And I started to notice that there seems to be a lot of adults without children here. And so I'll embellish characters from the past when I'm like explaining them, like holding up a pretend mustache or putting on a fedora hat or what have you. And that just helps engage not only children but adults too, and they get a kick out of my impersonations, and so it's growing now, and so yeah, it's been a fun journey to move forward with.
And the books are available where?
Anywhere books are sold, yeah, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all of that. Um, yeah, so the cool thing is you don't have to read all 5 books to follow the story. We realize on book one that these are probably going to place in gift shops in the national parks, and you don't want to have to go to 6 parks just to follow the story. So I front load the background story in each book, so you can pick up the book about Yellowstone or the book about the Smokies, and I did that so it could help build excitement before you go with your family on an adventure to that specific park. And so I'm glad I did that because some people will read book one and then book five, but skip the middle three, and or they're reading as they go to each park. A lot of people. So
Let me ask you, Jeff, when you're putting these books together or you're thinking in your head about getting out and having children experience the out of doors, you're not pushing children in middle school to start walking the Appalachian Trail, but it's just to get out there and experience something.
yeah. I focus on the fun, exciting adventure aspect of the outdoors because that at that age, that's what motivates kids. So if something looks exciting, you want to do it. You want to witness it, experience it. And I learned that if you just take that first step out there, then that plants the seed. And it did for me. So just getting that first experience in and making it fun. So you do so it wasn't a harrowing disaster. It was actually really fun. You learned all these cool things. You were with your family. You're building memories, and so to me it's a warm place in my heart. And if you're passionate about something, you can look past like the cold weather or the rain or whatever you may experience, and you're going to remember the fun times. So part of this series has been my own boyhood experience mixed in, which helps with the fictional characters in the book series.
So you've got a grandfather like me who has
Yes.
a grandson who is just turning 13.
Okay.
I want to get him out there to experience the out of doors. Walk me through how I can make it exciting for him, even though we're just going to one of the metro parks.
So age 13, that's an age where you're into social, like interacting with other folks. You may want to allow him to bring his friend or whoever. You want to give him some athletic leeway, freedom of sorts, because that's the beauty of nature. Is it's the one place in society where you know you you're out there. You're at one. You don't have to worry about traffic and things like that. Let him go ahead to the next trail crossing. It helps build confidence. Hey, I led this. And you just agree to meet up at certain points so he doesn't get lost. But uh, at that intersection, wait for me there. Go do your adventure. But it's a great time to talk and walk. A lot of people seem more relaxed when they're out in nature. This is proof positive too. Is we tend to be more creative. They say a 90 minute walk in nature can help prevent depression. I mean, there's so many powerful things that I knew as an Appalachian hiker, but now the scientists are proving it through studies that is so powerful. But just making it fun. They're like, hey, let's take a walk or let's go on an adventure. I always use the word adventure. That way, walk sounds laborious. And then, hey, let's go to lunch afterwards. So they know there's a reward at the end. Food's very rewarding to most of us. So yeah.
That sounds like fun, and I think especially living in the greater Toledo area, we have these beautiful metro parks just everywhere that beckon you to come in and experience the out of doors.
Yes, and growing up, Wildwood Preserve was one of my favorites. and there's some preserved history right in there with the old Stranahan Mansion, and there's history in every park, and that's what my book series brings out as well. And if you can bring that back to life, like imagine what it was like, and that makes it more intriguing and fun too. And then you forget you're even walking. Because you're learning something new. You don't even realize that you're actually getting a workout in.
Is it okay to call you Wrongfoot?
Sure. There's a lot of people that only know me to this day as Wrongfoot, which was my trail name based on a pretty painful experience, but turned out to be a humorous situation in the end. So, yeah.
You were wearing the wrong inserts to your boots when you
Yeah.
started on the trail.
I put them in the wrong boots, thought I'd give them a try. The arch supports were on the exterior instead of the interior where they should be. Couldn't figure out why I'm getting all these blisters. And come to find out, I discovered my error, but the damage was done. I had a half dozen blisters on each foot. And one's painful, And so I was putting this moleskin, which helps prevent blisters, on each blister. I went through the whole pack in less than a couple of hours. So I ended up wrapping my feet in duct tape. And then I'm taking ibuprofen for the pain. Wow. But once I realized what the problem was and corrected the error, it was much more relieving. But the damage was done. So I gave myself the name Wrongfoot to remind myself to laugh. And it turned out humor was probably one of the most powerful ways of getting through grim situations out there. And self-deprecating humor, laughing at yourself. And I did that almost daily. And to this day, I do that now. It was definitely a proven lesson when you're in a tough situation.
Yeah, yeah, it really is good to have that sense of humor about yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. I
Right,
I
right.
understand.
Yeah.
So tell me, Jeff, what's next? Another book? Another adventure on a trail?
Yeah. So book six is in the pre-planning stage. We have one more in my contract right now. I just returned from Yellowstone with my publishers, so it's kind of fun. We're actually going back to these parks, revisiting them together, and not only are we promoting books, but we're doing living history talks where in some of the parks, and I really enjoy doing that. So it's more than a book series. It's a whole adventure and experience. So as of late, that's what we're doing right now.
The man is Jeff Alt. His books are available on Amazon, at Barnes and Noble, and you mentioned even at the parks.
Yes, select parks. I do a lot of book signings and events like Great Smoky Mountain National Park, Acadia, Shenandoah, and we're working on getting the books into the stores out west as well.
Now you're from the Toledo area, but right now you're living where?
I'm currently in a little town, Lebanon, Ohio. It's a
I know the
historic.
town well.
Do you? Okay, yeah. Really neat, full of history here. I
Oh,
can walk uptown from where I live.
many a visits to the Golden Lamb.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great hotel, good food. I entertain lots of visiting family there. Yes.
Yeah, a ghost or two in that building.
So they say. Yeah, sounds like you've taken the tour. Well, if you're back in the neighborhood here again, you'll have to look me up in advance, and I'd love to show you around a little bit more.
We will do that. We will do that, Jeff. Thanks for spending some time with us this morning. Really
Oh,
appreciate it.
thanks for having me on, London. I appreciate it.
All right, we will stay in touch.
Yes, sounds good.
Jeff Alt. Learn more about Jeff and his books at jeffalt.com. I'm London Mitchell, inviting you to join us again next week as we continue staying in contact.